Pravana Vivids are semi-permanent hair colors. These colors are direct dyes, so that means they don't need a developer. You squeeze the color out of the tube and you use it. You don't mix it with anything. The Vivids line has 3 categories. You have the original Vivids, pastels, and then neons. The original Vivids will look like this. These are very strong shades. Blues, greens, oranges. I believe there's about 20 different colors. Basically, they're fantasy colors. For example, this is magenta. As long as you put this on pre-lightened hair, it's going to look just like this color. Very vibrant. If you wanted to soften it up a bit, you can use their clear Vivids, and that will lighten the shades. And you can use clear for any of these. If you want to darken the shades, you're going to use the black Vivids, but you have to be very, very careful. You just use a little dot of black. And you can test the color on a paper towel when you're mixing it with clear or black. This is what it's gonna look like on the hair, and this is it just straight out of the tube. On the front of the box, it's gonna give you the name, the color that it's supposed to look like, and there's gonna be some numbers here, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The number that is in the circle, in this case number 7, that's telling you that the hair needs to be at least a level 7 for this to show up well. And we'll swatch these in a minute, but here's a level 7. So if your hair is a level 4, you need to pre-lighten it to at least a level 7 when you're using this magenta, for example. If you want it to be the brightest it can be, it needs to be up in the level 10 range. So with Vivids, the brighter your canvas is, or the brighter your hair, the brighter these are going to look, and the more vibrant or true to swatch. Another example, this is neon blue. It has to be a level 10, so the brightest blonde. And your neons are neon green, neon yellow, neon blue. The cool thing about this line is they actually glow under blacklight. Then lastly, you have the pastels. It changes all the time, but I believe there's 5 shades right now. These are your Easter colors, very soft. Just like the neons, the hair needs to be pre-lightened to a level 10 for this to be able to show up, or show up well. You can put these fantasy colors on darker shades of hair, not necessarily the pastels or the neons. It's just not gonna do anything. In the original Vivids line, colors like magenta, blue, the violet, you can put those on these darker shades of hair, but it's not going to look like this bright color. Depending on what you're starting with or what the hair looks like, it's usually going to add a tone or depth. For example, one of my favorite colors to use is the violet. It's a really strong purple. On a level 5, 4, you can even do it on level 1. It gives it a violet cast. So it's still a darker shade of hair, but when it hits the light, it has a nice cast of violet. You can also do that with blue to create blue black. Another thing I like to use the Vivids original line for is for fillers. The straight red. If your client has level 10 hair and they want to be a level 4, remember you need a filler because you can't skip here. You're missing red, which will give you the opposite color, which is green, so you'll have green hair. You can put the straight red Vivids on this tin, let it process, rinse it out, and then apply the level 4 or 5 hair color. That gives it an anchor to hang on to, and it's replacing that missing primary that you took out. For the pastels line, you can use these as toners. Instead of putting it on dry hair like the directions say, you can put it on towel dried hair 15 minutes to cancel out any yellow orange tones, but it does need to be that level 10, and when you get that blonde, there shouldn't be that many tones to remove. So again, the true way to use these is just straight out of the tube on pre-lightened hair. Now the thing with these hair colors are, you do need to use a lot. The hair does absorb direct dyes, so just be mindful if you're doing a whole head, you may need more than 1 tube, and it's best to apply these in little sections at a time. So for example, you're going to wear gloves because it will stain your hand, but when you're applying the color, your subsection needs to be very, very thin. You need to be able to see through the bottom of it. Taking the hair color, pretend it's on here, and you're brushing it on. Up and down, side to side, front, back. Then moving down to another 3-inch section. Brushing it down, brushing it up, side to side, getting the back. With this hair color, you want to try to avoid doing this or rubbing the hair color through. It does tend to make the hair color look a little uneven. It's not noticeable if you do that unless you're really looking, but for that true consistent color, you wanna apply everything with the brush and avoid combing it through or using your hands to drag it down. And again, making sure you're using a lot of the product. Like this, there's a lot of product on here. Because remember, most of these colors are on level 10 hair. Level 10 has been lightened, it's porous, it's gonna soak up any color that you put on it. Once you've applied the color, you're gonna let it process for 30 minutes under no heat. You do wanna put a cap on it, but definitely no heat. If you apply heat to this color, it will start bleeding and it will be all over your face. So it's just processing at room temperature. When you rinse these out, the water needs to be cold. Not cool, not lukewarm. It is as cold as it can go. And you're not shampooing this out. You're rinsing it really well, and that's it. It's not gonna do any damage to your hair. This is gonna help kind of lock it in and help it stay longer. Because again, these are semi-permanent, so they're gonna fade every time you shampoo your hair. If you're doing a rainbow technique or layered techniques where you have pink here, blue, yellow, orange, green, whatever you're doing, you'll rinse the hair lightest to darkest. So if you have yellow on the top and blue on the bottom, you're gonna rinse the yellow first, squeeze it out, apply conditioner all over it, and then rinse the blue. You need the conditioner because you don't want the blue to hit the yellow, because that's gonna create a green hair color. So the conditioner acts as a barrier to prevent the bleeding. And these colors are intermixable. You could mix the yellow and the orange for a yellow orange. I've applied these colors on level 10 hair. This is the pastel lavender. And then the magenta, I have it on a level 10, and that's like, I think that's a level 6. I wish it was a 7, but it's a darker shade, so I want you to be able to see what it looks like when you apply it on darker hair. And this one I've actually never used before. It's the neon blue, and it's on level 10. So let's rinse these out. Remember, this is super important. Cold water. You're gonna lock in the hair color, close the cuticle, and prevent bleeding. And you're just rinsing it until the water is clear, so there's no more bleeding. Here's the neon after it's dry, again on a level 10, just like the box recommended, brightest blonde. Magenta, and I did not do a good job applying it here. That's a great example for really making sure you saturate the hair evenly. If you get in here, you can see the contrast in the hair color makes it look very uneven. Magenta on the darker shade gives it more of a red tone because it already has that warmth in this darker shade, and it's a true to swatch color on the level 10, well, on the bottom at least. This is the pastel lavender. Because these are direct dyes, semi-permanent, you want to try to shampoo your hair the least amount of times as possible. Every time you shampoo your hair, it's going to eventually fade out. Some of these colors don't fade out to the nicest shades. This magenta one I've had before, and it fades nicely to a softer pink. But for example, the aquamarine one, it's like a nice emerald blue-green color, fades to a murkyish green. So each time you're shampooing your hair, some of the direct dyes are slowly flowing out. To keep these colors vibrant for as long as possible, cold water, sulfate, paraben-free shampoo, covering your hair with a hat if you're gonna sit outside in the sun. Those things will help. If you decide you no longer want this hair color, using a color remover is recommended. Well, really what's recommended is to just let it fade out time. But if you're wanting a change, using a color remover versus just putting straight lightener or bleach on it would be your best option. But if you have this neon blue, for example, and you know in a few weeks you wanna change this to the neon yellow, using a clarifying shampoo a couple times a week to prep your hair, that will help pull those direct dyes out also.